Welcome to another episode of Common Sense.
Your common sense approach to real estate.
I am your co-host, Kurt Boomer Schenk, and Carmen Lonardo is your star, and he reminds me of that before every show.
I am the talent here.
He is the talent. So let's just start on how they can reach you at RE/MAX Realty Group, Carmen.
Well, the easiest way, as I always say, is text or call myself, 585-233-4119. Or email at carmen.lonardo@remax.net. That's a mouthful there, but I know our engineers will have a little thingy-dingy at the bottom of the screen.
He'll put something down there. He's really good at that. Here at Rockvox, by the way.
Yeah.
And we can also find you on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and all the social media.
Oh, I'm out there.
Yeah. Yes. And you are out there. Right. Soon we'll be talking to our guest, Tracey Deitz.
The real talent today.
The true talent.
The true talent.
Even though some people call her Tracey Deitz, but we won't do that anymore.
I just had to
I had to get it in once. So how we like to get started, though, before we go over to Tracey and learn about what she does, what's going on with real estate, Carmen?
Well, a couple of things are going on. The market seems to have pulled back a little bit. And what I mean by that is that buyers don't appear to be as aggressive as they were. And we're starting to see some price reductions come across, which was unheard of, months ago. And it's interesting, too. I pulled something from the local business journal from a couple of weeks ago. We mentioned several months ago that our market was experiencing a reduction in inventory homes listed for sale, and that we were one of the worst markets in the U.S. Mm-hmm. Well, this comes just about a month and a half ago, and I'm going to read so that I get this correct. But the supply of homes on the market in July, this is a nationwide statistic, dropped 3.4%. But here in July, here I mean the greater Rochester metro area, the drop was almost 30% year over year. So we are at a pretty distressed market when it comes to inventory. And about half of the homes listed for sale are selling for over asking price. So, again, this is data looking back, and I just got done telling you the market's pulled back a little bit, so...
What are the factors? Why is it?
Well, there's a lot of economic factors that are creating the demand, and building just has not kept up. Since the economic trouble that we got into in 2008, 2009, and builders still haven't ramped up for a variety of reasons. When there was a lot of foreclosures, I learned this interesting fact just a couple days ago. When there was a lot of foreclosures a few years back, folks were buying those and not putting them back on the market to sell. They converted them into rental units.
Right.
And so that is also creating a lack of inventory. So it's a challenging market.
Are the boomers hanging on to their house doing aging in place build outs and things like that too?
Staying longer. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
For a second there, I thought you were talking about, your family, the boomers, but
that's true. I am
Kurt,
boomer.
The boomer. Boom, boom.
Yeah. Feel free to use
back
that
to
as
the
my
show.
Yes. Okay. Now, anything else that in the market that as we approach near the end of the year to be cognizant of?
Well, we have a great topic to talk about today. I can't wait to get into it. Mm-hmm. And also what's a great thing to do this time of year, October, November, December, is to, if you're going to sell or buy in the spring or sometime next year, now's a good time to start thinking about it. Now's a good time to call, Carmen and start sitting down and laying out a plan, whether that's going to be to sell or buy or both. So that, once the spring market hits, we're ready to go.
Great. 585-233-4119.
Yeah, that's my number.
I know.
Call or text.
Call or text. Let's get ready for spring. You can do that now.
So
Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say I was really excited when I met Tracey and told her about our podcast. And she's a interior decorator, a stager. She does all these fancy things with homes. She has a really neat background that I hope she tells us a little bit about. This time of year is when all of the lawn stuff starts coming out. The big pop-up, blow-up dolls, that go like this in the wind,
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, and so hopefully she can talk to us about that stuff too.
Welcome, Tracey Deitz, to the Carmen Sense podcast. You've been an interior designer and home staging for over 15 years now. So let's start at the beginning. How did you get into that?
I have been doing this my entire life.
Okay.
I have always loved design. I have always been fascinated by homes. Probably started because my parents would lug us around to open houses. And my parents loved going to see open houses. Not that they were planning on buying anything, but I think they just loved to go in people's homes and see how they were decorated. And actually, my dad was an amazing decorator. He was an electrical engineer, but he loved building and creating and designing homes.
Wow, that's
so I get it from my dad.
The right brain, left brain conflict going on there.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So I started professionally later in life. I went back to school and studied design. I'm from Toronto originally. I've lived here for 7 years now.
Go Leafs, baby.
Yes.
Got two Canadian. I'm outnumbered. I have two Canadians on the show right now. Yeah.
Yes, we were talking about that. Yeah. Absolutely.
Out and about.
Yep, out and about.
Out and about. You got your toque on.
Your toque, exactly. So I started doing this professionally about 15 years ago. Started in Toronto, and when I moved here, I had to own everything for my staging business. So I kind of did a little bit of both. I did some staging, did some design, really focused more on interior design, and pivoted last year to go into the staging full time.
Okay.
I love it. I love staging vacant homes. That's my big passion. I have a large inventory, have a great little warehouse downtown. It's just so much fun. I get to get my decorating on in one day and be done.
So the name of the company is reDesigned.
reDesigned.
Okay.
Yes.
It's kind of a weird way to do it. It always throws me off, but maybe Fitz can throw that up on the screen.
So my maiden name is Reed.
Okay.
So that's how I came up with my company name. So the R-E,
R-E,
design, and then E-D.
I'm looking on the list here. I
reDesigned.
mean, this is a good segue for the list, right?
Sure, why
Yes.
not?
This is Carmen's list of pros. These are people that I refer business to and refer business to me. There's all kinds of people on here. There's accounting, daycare, elder care, plumbing and heating, and there's decorators and interior designers and bankers on here. And if you want this, just give me a call or send me a text message or an email, and I'll be happy to put a copy in the mail to you. Or it's also available electronically, and I can send you a link.
Yeah, these are hot off the press. I mean, you just brought these today.
Just
They look
literally hot off the
really,
press.
really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great idea, by the way.
Yeah. So, anyways, back to Tracey.
Tracey.
No, well,
So,
thank you.
what entails staging a home?
Okay, so there's vacant staging, vacant homes, and then there's occupied staging. Pardon me. And the occupied is going into someone's home and doing a walkthrough with them and sharing with them how to maximize the potential of the photos, because everyone's online, everyone's looking at potential homes online. Used to be 95%, it's probably 99.9% of people are now going online and really flushing out the homes that they're not interested in seeing. Mm-hmm. So you have to be photo ready. And doing a walkthrough, maybe selecting some fresh paint colors to try and perhaps tone down the look. You want to accentuate all the wonderful features, the architectural detail. Maybe there's a fireplace, there's built-ins, beautiful kitchen, and you don't want to distract from that. You really want to enhance the way everything is going to come across in the photos. So
it's got to be really tough when, a family is tied to a particular photograph or painting or piece of art,
yes.
Or something that just is detrimental to a sale. How do you deal with that?
Yes. Well, I think by starting off the conversation that I'm there as part of your marketing team, really. If I come in as a designer or a stager and say, these are all the changes you're going to make, it's not about redesigning their home. It's about really marketing their home ready for sale and emotionally trying to let them see that they're not going to be living there anymore, that they're on to another fabulous place to live. So let's get this home picture ready. Let's market your home to appeal to other potential families.
So it's positioning it. Right.
It is. Yeah. It really is. And it's difficult because, a lot of people have oversized portraits of their children hanging up in the main living spaces of the homes. Mm-hmm. And people really truly feel like they're intruding on your space, having such a personalized decor. So we just try and make the suggestions that those type of art pieces are put away. Sometimes a little picture on the bedside table or something is fine, but really, people have photos going up the stairs in the living room, everywhere, and it really is.
We say,
personal.
Depersonalize, declutter.
Yes.
Right. Declutter is a big one. It
really is, and a lot of times the family has already been told that by their realtor.
Right.
So they know what they need to do, and a lot of times we live with inconveniences in our home that we're used to, that cupboard not having that knob on it, or that it's loose, or the front door doesn't work properly. Those are all the little things also that we have to be aware of,
right,
so that we can fix all those little things, fresh eyes.
Yeah, that would turn me off. If the knob is loose or something like that, that would drive me crazy. I would go, this place needs work.
And what else needs work?
Yeah.
That starts to question, okay, what about the furnace? Has that been maintained?
Good point.
What about the water heater? So I always tell people that too. It's really important to have everything in working condition, because then people are going to start looking further. Another thing is the paint colors. People, they love their hunter green or their burgundy dining room, and by toning down the colors, again, I remind them it's for the purpose of sale, for the purpose of photos. I find going through a home really with one color is fantastic, because I think as you're swiping online and looking at the pictures and you're transitioning from room to room to room to room, it's just so much more soothing on the eyes and more appealing for people to look at.
Yeah, the big ones for me are the hot pink. I can't tell you how many little girl bedrooms I've walked into that are just hot pink. They're cute and they look great and they're appointed really nicely, but this is going to deter from the sale, right?
Yeah.
Or the kid whose bedroom is like slate blue, right?
Right.
Super, super dark, right? And all of that stuff needs to be corrected for the sale. Absolutely.
It really does.
Yeah.
Because in another way I like to explain to people is, when it comes down to it, they may be selecting between your home and one other home or two other homes. And at the end of the day, whoever has a smaller list when they have to move in may win that decision.
Sure.
Right.
I don't have to paint that room. That's one less thing I got to do.
Exactly.
That's a good point. Yeah. So what about the vacant staging? You said you had a warehouse, so I would assume you have furniture and things like that. Okay,
I do.
Just tell us about that.
So the vacant staging I love. Funny enough, my old home, we lived in Syracuse in Manlius before moving back to Rochester here for my husband's local. My old home, I got a notice that my house was for sale, because I guess I'm still the Zillow owner. And it's vacant, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
The burgundy rooms, the green rooms, the teal room, chalkboard on the wall. In the great room, the curtains don't touch the floor. Like, these are all the things I'm seeing, the cords everywhere. That's how they're presenting to somebody. And, a home being vacant, I personally don't, I'm not a proponent of staging all the rooms. This isn't a model home. You're trying to give somebody the wow factor when they first walk into the home. So living room, eat-in area, kitchen area. I do all the bathrooms as well. Bathrooms sell. But it's really just to give a sense of flow and purpose to the spaces, especially when you have large spaces. People are like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough furniture to fill the room.
Right.
We don't need a lot of furniture to fill the room necessarily. Maybe you have big pieces of art or what have you. But
what about bedrooms? You stage the bedroom?
I mean, if people want them staged, I do. I don't have a huge inventory. I don't use dressers. It would just be bed, headboard, sideboard, lots of art, accessories. I'm always looking for the money shot in the room. Where's the best angle? What's going to highlight? How many windows are in the room? The type of flooring that's in the room. So I'm really cognizant of positioning. And so maybe this side of the room, these two walls are really done up, but behind me, there really isn't a lot on there because it's not where they're going to be photographing from.
Right.
So, and that, has a lot to do with cost as well. If you want a show home, model home look, it's a lot more expensive than doing a basic
Of course.
staging. And I'm working with a lot of flippers, and they want to get the biggest value for their money.
That's what I was going to ask you. Who are these people? So you have house flippers,
Yes.
people being relocated, obviously,
Yes.
things like that. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. I also stage for architects.
Oh, okay.
A lot of times architects don't want to show their spaces vacant to potential clients. So I do stage for architects as well. Rentals. Again, people, it's such a competitive market for rentals right now with all the big buildings that are
Right.
popping up.
Yep.
And they want to, have a better look, appeal to more
A
people.
nice model for
Yeah.
possible leasers.
And of course, real estate agents.
Real estate agents. How about, let's get in a little bit, specific about this time of year.
Yes.
We're coming up on the holidays, and I guess we should probably talk a little bit about the things that you can do to enhance and decorate your home and enjoy the holidays with your family, but we should also talk about the things that perhaps you shouldn't do if your home is for sale, because there's a couple different angles to this that we want our audience to benefit from. One is the decorating piece, and the other is the staging piece. My home is for sale. So
Yes.
we could probably talk about this for hours, but we have about 10 minutes to go. So let's, one of the big things for me as being a listing agent this time of year, people like to dress up their home for Halloween.
Sure.
And give us some of the do's and the don'ts. I mean, when you pull up to a house that's listed for sale at Halloween time, do you want the ghost hanging from the tree in the front yard? Do you want the witch? Do you want, the pumpkins all over the place? And on the inside, what should it look like on the inside? Should there be like bowls of candy, plastic pumpkins, the tchotchke stuff?
Right.
Let's talk about that, and then let's roll into like the Thanksgiving and the Christmas.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So my theory, and I think a lot of other stagers out there would be the same, is that less is more. So if you have to decorate, I mean, maybe you have a 6-year-old child and they want to enjoy the season. I think going with less than more would be advisable when you're trying to sell your home. I just think that maybe a few pieces outside, perhaps a little something in a foyer or a mudroom, little inspirations here and there. But it's the same thing for the rest of the year. The kids' art that maybe is strung up all over their bedroom, and they've got those little Christmas lights going because they love that little look. I mean, all of those things are things that we would recommend to be removed for sale. So I think it kind of goes the same with the Halloween. Less is more. and for Thanksgiving.
I've seen homes that, like during the fall time, where the decorating is just very tasteful. And it's
Sure.
very simple. And
It is.
just adding some color, some fall color.
A nice
Yes.
centerpiece and things like that.
Yeah.
Yes, a little wreath at the front door, with your oranges and what have you. I think if you can refrain while you're selling, it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Definitely.
What about, when we get into not so much Thanksgiving, but a little bit of Thanksgiving, but mostly
Christmas?
Christmas. What about like religious symbols and
Right.
objects?
Right. Well, again, for the whole year, I'm Jewish. I come into a home and I see a ketubah, marriage license. I quite often recommend that people put those away. I did it in my own home when I sold. And other things like having maybe a large cross. And I always say to people, if it's all right with you, if that's comfortable for you, that would be my recommendation. And I always remind people too that these are recommendations. They're not your list of you absolutely have to do. You do what's comfortable for you because you're still living in the home. Mm-hmm. And I'm very aware of that. And I haven't really worked with a lot of realtors that are adamant that certain things, it's a very personal, intimate relationship that you have with these people. And so if they're comfortable with it, putting away any religious items is recommended. But, decorating for Christmas, I mean, again, maybe there's children in the home and they don't want to, skip doing that. So
Right.
I think, again, less is more. Instead of having maybe a tree, because a lot of people have multiple trees
right.
in their homes. So I think because also the size of a tree is quite large.
Cuts down on the size of the room.
It really
Exactly.
does
Yeah.
cut down in the room. So if you can, maybe stick to just having one tree in one room, and but still enjoy. I personally, I like to add scent to the different times a year.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I love. Unfortunately, Crabtree and Evelyn no longer has their Noel scent. They're oils that you burn.
Oh, wow.
And for me, it's just fabulous. I love it because it reminds me of Christmas and winter. And so I love to incorporate that in my home for the decorating.
What's
really
that
is
called?
having these scents.
Yeah, write that down.
Well, it's called Noel by Crabtree and Evelyn. And if you're willing to pay $80 a teeny tiny little bottle on eBay, you'll find it because they're discontinued now. However, Pottery Barn just came out with, every year they do new scents. It's not necessarily being marketed for Christmas, but it's called Palo Santo, and it smells 95% close to the Noel.
Wow.
Palo Santo. And apparently it's a tree in Brazil that has healing properties.
Ooh.
And so people burn that, and I guess they do the smudge sticks and stuff. So I've bought some online. I'm waiting for it to be delivered, and I'll let you know if it worked out.
That brings up a point. What about people that are fragrance sensitive, though?
Yes. I mean, you wouldn't want to burn anything and leave your home.
Right.
A lot of people put those scented
Yeah,
those things in the wall,
Yeah,
which
plugs.
I don't like because they have caught on fire.
Yeah.
They've been known to catch on fire,
Right.
so they're dangerous. But people with animals, people
Right.
who smoke,
Animals.
they're trying to to not have that
To not
scent in the
have the
home.
Cats and dogs. And stuff like that.
I think it's okay to burn before you leave your home and then
Okay.
blow it out. Because as long as it's burning, because I do have a little sensitivity to fragrance, as long as it's burning, that's when you have the sensitivity. But as the leftover scent
That lingers.
shouldn't, yeah.
Okay.
That's you bring up a good point though. I mean, for me personally, I don't like the scented candles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's a scented candle, right?
Right.
It's just not a natural aroma.
Right.
But you bring up a good point with animal odors. Animal odors.
You got
Yes.
I got it.
it. You got it.
How do you deal with that? How is a good way to mask it? Really, I mean, because you can't get rid of Fido, right?
Well, you can't, but for showings, hopefully
For
they are.
showings.
Of course. Right.
Right.
It should really be cleaned. There's a spray called Nature's Miracle that apparently is the only thing that will really, truly remove pet stains in the carpets. You can get that at Pet Saver, and it's fantastic. But, opening the windows, fresh air, I think is the best, because when you get in there and you're trying to cover up an existing scent, now you have this scent and you have what you're trying to cover up.
It makes it doubly bad. I think.
It really does.
Yep.
It really does. I think trying to clean the area, and if it's really that bad, you really should be replacing the carpet.
Yeah.
Because again, it comes back to the list when people are going to be deciding on ultimately which home they're going to be choosing between,
Now, do you recommend if there's hardwoods under the carpet to pull the carpet?
100%.
Yeah.
I really, truly believe people are looking for hardwoods.
Yeah, I would.
It doesn't matter what the price point is. I think nowadays people want hardwood floors, maybe not so much in the bedrooms, but I personally believe that, yes.
Yeah, I love hardwoods myself.
And then there's, I work with a lot of flippers. So a lot of flippers are using the LVT, the luxury vinyl tile that looks like wood.
Right.
And my personal advice is over $175,000. I don't think you really want to go there and put the plastic. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I agree. Because it looks like you've done just that.
Yeah. There's some great quality.
Yeah, and the stuff looks fantastic. But if you're the home that you're trying to sell, is up there in price, and you chintz out on getting it ready, then it's going to look like you did just that.
Well, I've been looking into lately. I still read my shelter magazines from Toronto, and there's this flooring company, and they're advertising this LVT for $1 million homes. Our condos start at $400,000 for 400 square feet.
Right.
And so I called them, and they said they're putting them in the higher end homes. So I think we'll see that trickling here.
The product that I've seen here is it's a great product. It's fantastic. It looks great. The wear is wonderful. Maybe they have an even better product. I don't know.
I think they're definitely making huge improvements. Before it was just kind of a stamped on look, but they're definitely coming out with some fantastic wood looking pieces. Really well done. So I think we're going to start seeing a little bit of a change, because they're not cheap either. They can be quite expensive.
Not inexpensive. But to me, it's like when someone redoes a kitchen, or thinks that they've redone a kitchen, they'll do like the kitchen itself may be original to the house and maybe 20, 30, 40 years old, and so they'll throw a granite countertop on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
To me, it looks like you threw a granite countertop on an older kitchen.
Right.
So,
It can, especially if there's soffits still.
Yeah.
If there's no soffits, if they're going higher up, you can, one of my greatest tricks that I recommend people is swapping out that hardware. It can make your kitchen look just so much better in the photos. I personally feel you don't want to see the hardware when you walk in, especially when you have a lot of cabinets and drawers. You kind of want it to blend in, pick up on another color that's already existing maybe in the kitchen. If you have some dark floors, maybe go with a darker hardware. But changing out that hardware can really make a huge impact.
And that's relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, right.
And DIY.
And lighting. You could spend a few $100s in lighting and just really dress a place up.
Yes.
And electrical outlets and switches. Changing the cover plates are 25 cents, for crying out loud.
Yes.
Make them all match, and they just look nice.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, I'd be remiss without asking this, just without getting into hard numbers or anything. How are you compensated for doing this?
Very good question. So I do start.
Very good question, Kurt.
I do have, I have a starting package. It's $1,075 for 2 rooms, and that's 1,500 square feet and smaller.
Okay.
And then I have a move-out fee as well. But again, I work with a lot of flippers.
Okay.
They see the value in staging a home, as opposed to, even though these homes are flipped, presumably they're like brand new homes, because they've gone through them. People can still see the little defects. Maybe the floor isn't 100% flush because you're working in an 85-year-old home, or there's some other issues in the home. Those really stand out. But when the home is staged and you give it this cozy, warm look, it's just so much more appealing.
Okay. How do we find you?
I'm everywhere. I can be found on my website, reDesignedinc.com.
Okay.
And I'm on...
You're on the
Facebook.
list of pros.
I'm on the list of pros there,
Yep,
so just
list
ask
of pros.
Carmen, and he can tell you. He can give you his PDF. I'm on YouTube. I have a couple of really cool videos
good.
that show stop motion, a room vacant, and then it's staged. Yeah,
Great.
I'm around.
So how do you get to the YouTube channel?
Through my website.
Just through the
is
website.
probably the easiest way.
Okay.
You could search me, reDesigned Inc. You can reach me on my cell, 585-404-6717.
Okay.
Text me. I'm great at responding to text messages. So
Yes, she is. Email, not so much.
You should
Email,
learn
not so
something.
much.
You should
Email,
learn
not
something,
so much.
Carmen. You should learn something. And, we're going to learn something because we've got one cheesy Carmen Cooks this week.
I don't know why this popped into my head to talk about today. Maybe it's because I'm hungry as usual. But mozzarella, right? Everybody loves mozzarella.
Love mozzarella.
sure.
But there's like different kinds of mozzarella, and there's the chunk of mozzarella that you can get. There's the shredded mozzarella. There's the whole milk. There's the part skimmed. My favorite is buffalo milk mozzarella. It's tangier, and it sort of melts a little bit different on a pizza, and it's great for a caprese salad. Use that instead. But it's a little pricey, but a little bit goes a long way.
It's from Buffalo's.
It's from Buffalo's. Yeah.
Where do you get this buffalo milk?
Well, I don't actually get the milk. I get the mozzarella.
You actually get the cheese
I
made
get
from
the
buffalo
cheese.
milk. Okay.
And it's imported from Italy.
Okay.
You can find it at your favorite grocer.
Gotcha.
You can find it at some specialty stores. As a matter of fact, where I get mine is from Lombardi's Gourmet Imports Fine Gifts and Gift Baskets in Fairport, and they're on the list. Right?
They're on the list.
They
Pushing
made the list.
Pushing the list.
It's not gamey.
No, it's actually quite good.
Nice.
Stop at Lombardi's and get yourself some. It's fantastic.
I'm going to go try it.
Yeah. And then there's burrata, which is the mozzarella, and then you sort of got the creamy filling on the inside. So when you cut it open, it just oozes right out.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think the fat content of that is a little higher, but it's well worth it. Yep.
Nice.
Do you make your own mozzarella?
I have. It's a little laborious, because you got to take the curds and you got to get them in the hot water, and then you got to start stretching them and so forth. And I have made it. It comes out pretty decent.
Okay.
But it's unless you make it all the time and you're not really good at it, it's a store kind of thing. Go buy it.
And if you're staging your home and staging your kitchen, please keep it clean, correct? If you're cooking
Yes.
still in
Oh,
it.
dear goodness. I've seen some photos
Can't
on
imagine.
Zillow. I mean, the bed's not made. Like, did you not know the photographer was coming
Stuff
today?
in the sink, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've seen some horrible pictures.
All right. Well, thanks again, Tracey Deitz from reDesigned.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. This was fun.
It was
was
great
awesome.
having
Yeah.
you here.
Thank you.
You really drove the show today, as far as I'm concerned. Great content. Appreciate it.
Great.
Carmen, how do we find you now? Again.
Well, text or email 585-233-4119 or carmen.lonardo@remax.net. And those are the easiest ways, but Facebook as well. Carmen Lonardo and Associates is the best way on Facebook. Message me, call me, text me. I'm easy to get a hold of, and love to hear from people.
And where can we find some of our other podcasts too? What's the best way?
Well, probably on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah, just look up Carmen Lonardo on YouTube, and you'll get it there.
Okay, I'd like to thank Fitz here at Rock Vox. If you're thinking of doing podcasting, this is the place to do it. Does a great job.
But they do more than podcasts here, right?
They do a lot. They
What
do a
are
lot of
those,
recording and narration and things like
the legacy
that.
videos.
The
right?
legacy videos are fabulous.
Yeah, that's fantastic stuff.
Fabulous. And he's eventually going to bring me on as one of his voice talents. I keep waiting. I keep waiting. And again, everybody, thanks for watching and listening to another Carmen Sense podcast.
Common sense approach to real estate.
And we'll see you again soon.
Bye.